Hi, it's Sarah Bear. I just got back from seeing Coriolanus, which was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Um, I want to say right away that this video is going to have spoilers um, pertaining to the play and to the plot. So if you haven't read Coriolanus and you want to be completely surprised when you see it in theaters, if you're going to see it in theaters, then I would suggest not watching this video because it's going to give some stuff away. So I was absolutely blown away. I'm kind of like, now I'm getting nervous and I don't really know if I'm going to be able to remember everything that I wanted to say, but here's hoping. I'll try my best. So I got to the movie theater. I was really excited, and there was some stupidity going on with my ticket, and I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to get in, but I got in, and I actually got amazing seats, and it filled up completely by the time the play started, and it was all ages. There were a lot of older people that were there, more for Shakespeare. They see a lot of the National Live Theatre productions, or National Theatre Live. And then there was a lot of younger people who, from the conversations that I could hear, were there predominantly for Tom, which is okay. I mean, if it's getting sort of, people to come out and see Shakespeare's stuff, it's still good. They're still seeing it. I should say right away that I do know the play. I'm familiar with it. I read it as a teenager. So I was very excited to see what they were going to do with it. It's one of the most underrated Shakespeare plays pretty much ever. So anyways, it started off with kind of behind the scenes video, kind of explaining a little bit of background of what Coriolanus is about, who Coriolanus is, and then it went right into the play. I was excited. I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't think it was going to just get right in there, but it did. And so the set, I'm going to start off with the set. Obviously the Donmar is a smaller theater. It's very intimate. And it was very minimalistic setting, but very modern. It was basically just the stage with a singular ladder in the middle, some chairs in the back, and then a red painted square that actually gets painted on right before the show starts, and then a big brick wall in the back. And the brick wall has a lot of graffiti on it, and graffiti gets added a lot throughout the play. And usually in Shakespearean productions, the sets are a little more elaborate. If you've ever seen a traditional Romeo and Juliet play, you might know what I'm talking about. But if anything, it kind of went back to the basics, because when Shakespeare's plays were first being done, there wasn't a whole lot of elaborate sets. So it was nice in that respect. The set kind of went well with the costumes, because the costumes were also very modern and very simple. The chairs were great. They were moved around a lot. They were kicked around. They were kind of taken and moved in almost like a dance sort of a way, flipped around a lot and used in transition. The wall was a big thing. There was a lot of wordplay that happened on the wall, a lot of lighting manipulated. The wall was used a lot to kind of enhance the tone of the scene. Lighting was also very important. Whether it was projecting onto the wall, focusing on a specific character, specific characters. There was obviously the rain that comes down during the showers. Well, not the rain, but like the water that comes down during the shower scene, which I'll get to. They had rose petals that dropped from the ceiling at one point. There was actually rain that happens in a scene, and it was amazing. It really added to almost like a grittiness of the tone of the play, which works because Coriolanus is very gritty. It's one of Shakespeare's lesser plays that's about romance and love and is more about battle and politics. The music was great. I couldn't really try and describe it if I tried. It's very modern, very heavy, Then there were times where it was kind of strings, when you had moments of tension or suspense, but especially during the scene transitions, it was a lot of heavy instrumental, very, as I said, modern, and it worked. I'm sorry if I'm not very articulate with this. I'm picturing it all in my head, and it's really hard to try and describe. The actors. I'm going to apologize right now if I don't pronounce their names properly. I spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out how to pronounce Miss Sorensen's first name, which is Birgitte. It's Danish. If anyone here is Danish, please feel free to let me know how to pronounce it. I want to say Bridget. It's probably wrong. But so that I don't mess up anyone's names here, I do have the program that I was given. So, to start off, I want to start off with Mark Gatiss because I love Mark Gatiss. He played Menenius, and he was a lot of comic relief. He provided a lot of laughs, but also a lot of very heartbreaking moments, and he got me teared up quite a bit. And when I first saw him, I couldn't help but see Mycroft from BBC Sherlock in his character, and then I couldn't help but wonder, like, is that Mycroft or is it his character? Is that just who Mark is? He was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Hadley Fraser, oh my god, Hadley. He plays Ophidius, and he's amazing. I got a bit of a crush on him, and I'm not gonna give away the context, but I'm just gonna say right now, there is a part in the play where he kisses Tom. My ovaries shattered, and I'm pretty sure everyone else is, like, the women, all shattered too, because I didn't see it coming, and he just sort of gets really close to Tom and then kisses him, and it was pretty great. I ship it. So, other two people that stood out was Helen, once again, Schlesinger, sorry, and Elliot Levy. And they played Brutus and Cecilia. They're kind of the duo that are the instigators throughout the play. A lot of what happens and why certain events unfold is because of them. And their chemistry was awesome. They worked off each other amazingly. You hated them, but you loved them at the same time. They provided comic relief as well, but there was always sort of a malevolent, bitter undertone. And a specific, I apologize, I don't know his name very well, but he plays Dean off of Harry Potter. He was phenomenal. Like, I don't know if he has a background in Shakespeare, but it almost made me wish he had a bigger part in Harry Potter because he was a joy to watch. Particular two people who deserve mention, in my opinion, was, let me get the names. Again, Miss Sorensen. I do not want to get her name wrong. She plays Virgilia, who is Coriolanus' wife. First of all, the chemistry between her and Tom was sensational. My favorite moment in the play, actually, is the moment where Coriolanus first sees his wife after coming home from battle. Just the smile he gets on his face. It's kind of the only time in the play that you see Coriolanus happy. And it was just such a warm moment. And then they kiss, and it's just so sweet. And then later on, there's a moment where she sits on his lap, and then they kiss again, and then she starts kissing down his neck. And he is trying to, like, say something, and all of a sudden he just stops and kind of moans a little bit, and then he, like, throws her off of him. The moment's gone, but I was kind of like, I actually lifted my fist. I was like, you go, girl. And it was great. She's a particularly likable character, though, because everyone in the play sort of has their own, they have these motives, and they all revolve around kind of goading Coriolanus down a certain direction. So Menenius and Coriolanus' mother, who is not Virgilia, it's not Volumnia. This is the part where me reading the play when I was a teenager did not come in handy now. I want to say Volumnia, but I might be wrong. Hmm. I want to say it's Volumnia. I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure because she's played by Deborah Finlay, and I'll get to her in a second. But a lot of those characters, like Menenius and Volumnia, are all about trying to push Coriolanus towards battle, trying to push him to be the politician, whereas Virgilia is more along the lines of she just doesn't want her husband to be hurt. She wants the best for him, and she sees everything that everyone's doing and manipulating her husband down a certain direction. So you kind of care for that for her because she seems like the only character who really, 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 truly has Coriolanus's best interests at heart. Um, yeah, and when it comes to Volumnia, Deborah, whoa, she's got a lot of power to her. She is a very influential woman. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Lady Macbeth in the sense that she really is kind of the one who morphs Coriolanus into the man that he is. She almost gets off in a slightly creepy way sometimes on his battle scars and on him being a warrior and being a soldier. And but then near the end of the play, she's one of the people who comes back and almost is trying to kind of push him towards the actions to make peace and redeem himself. So her character, like I said, it's a very powerful character, and especially in the beginning, you're kind of just like, okay, lady, hop off. But you can't help but like her. Um, Tom. Tom. What can I say about Tom? He was perfect. The perfect Coriolanus. Most of the people I've seen play Coriolanus are a lot older, so it was a nice change of pace to see someone who was considerably younger, couple decades younger, playing him. His emotions were all over the chart. I mean, we all know this. He can play angry, he could play sad, he could play, happy, heartbroken, and he shows all of that in this play. My favorite scene is the scene where he kind of has to go be the politician with the common folk, if you will, the middle class, and he doesn't bode well trying to relate to the middle class. He doesn't see them in a positive light, and he basically has to go and kind of cater to them and gain their favor, gain their voices, and it's incredibly satirical the entire time. It's the funniest scene in the play. Tom is absolutely hilarious in it, and he's very mocking, and a lot of Loki you could see in it. There are a lot of kind of Loki undertones. The only thing, which is both good and bad, is that scene he's dressed in a gown, which is essentially a white sheet. And the sheet, there were a lot of times where the lighting hit just right, and it was pretty much entirely see-through. And he was wearing underwear, so don't get too excited because you don't see everything, but you definitely see a lot. And it was good because, I mean, the inner fangirl in you was like, legs for days. But then from another perspective, it was almost like I felt bad for him. You almost feel a little embarrassed because the scene is the focus and what's going on is supposed to be what's important, and yet so many times just the lighting hit just right and then you'd get distracted and you'd be like, what's he saying? Oh yeah, this is totally interesting. Oh god, look at those legs. Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, where were we? Okay, yep, totally into it. Totally into it. Ha ha ha, that's funny. Legs. So, like, I don't know. It was definitely like, I was all over the place. I didn't really know. I was kind of combating my love of what was going on with my ovaries, trying to just shoot out of my body and hit the people sitting in front of me. The only thing that I have to say, the only critique, I guess, that I have to give Tom is that there's a lot of shouting in this play. More than half of the lines are shouted. And when he shouts, I actually found that his diction was a lot less clear than the other actors. And so sometimes when his character would be angry and then Tom would be shouting his lines, I couldn't always understand them. But again, because I know the play, I knew what was going on still. Whereas with the other characters, I always understood what they were saying, regardless of the volume with which they were talking. But when his lines, they were still powerful. They were still very, very good, very well delivered. I preferred Tom's lines when they were calmer, is all I'm saying. There's one particular scene where it's kind of like shit goes down, and he's trying to make this big public speech in front of all the people, and Brutus and Sicinia's there, and they're kind of opposing him the entire time. They're trying to rile the people up and bring him down, and he's trying to get his say in, and they're barely letting him. And then finally he just breaks out into this huge speech, and most of it is said with a calm, collected anger, and it's very sarcastic and it's very judgmental, and he's taking it very personally. And that was, I got goosebumps. It was absolutely amazing. And sometimes he'd yell, and it was a good opposition. But I found that my favorite lines by him were the ones that were more calm. They just held so much more emotion, in my opinion, and displayed kind of a more wide array of what Coriolanus was thinking and what was going through his mind. Three more things, because this is going on for a long time. The shower scene really got played up before I saw it. It wasn't, and I say this as a compliment, it wasn't sexy pretty much at all, in my opinion. It was more sad than anything. I felt like I was in pain watching it, because he's in so much pain. Like when he's trying to remove his shirt, his hand is shaking, reaching towards where his wound is on his arm, and he's, like huffing in pain, and it was hard to watch. Two other scenes that were absolutely incredible was, there's a scene right near the end in the last act where Coriolanus's mom, wife, and son come to him and basically try and stop him from setting war on Rome, because basically Coriolanus gets exiled and banished from Rome, and he winds up going to Aphidius, and he goes into his home, and this is also a very powerful scene, and he basically gets down on his knees and offers him his life and says, you can kill me to spite Rome. And for people who haven't seen or read Coriolanus, that part is particularly tense, because while he's saying this to Aphidius, one of Aphidius's guards is approaching him from behind with a dagger, just kind of waiting for, give me word and I'll kill him for you. And Coriolanus doesn't see it. So the entire time you're watching it, you almost just want to shout, like, Coriolanus, look behind you! Like, behind you! And then in the end, Aphidius is moved, basically, by him, and is honored by the idea of being able to fight alongside him. So they form a partnership and basically are going to be facing off and setting war on Rome, which is where Coriolanus comes from. So his wife, mother, and child come to basically convince him not to. And it is one of the saddest scenes I've ever seen, I think, in anything ever. And the saddest part is, like, they're all crying. For about probably 10 minutes of the scene, Tom is bawling his eyes out. He's just got tears in his eyes. They're just pouring down his face. And then there's one part where he says goodbye to them, where he's hugging all of them, and Tom is just full on crying. And I got tears. It's hard not to. It's a very moving scene, and seeing Tom especially that heartbroken, and I mean, how are you going to watch Tom cry and not get upset by it? And then the last scene, it's the very end, and I'm not going to give it away, because that's the only thing I'm not going to give away. I apologize for everything else I've spoiled for you. I knew it was coming, because I've read the play. I still bawled my eyes out completely. It was just, it killed me. See it. If you can, see it. I really hope that it's going to be released on DVD or online. I think with all of the feedback it's gotten, and it's in such high demand, that from a business perspective, they would be kind of silly not to release it and try and make some money off of that, because thousands of people would buy it. I would. I walked out of there, and actually we all got free vouchers to see another live theater production, because the National Theater has a lot of them at that movie theater. And so I'm going to be going probably this weekend to go and get my tickets for the encore show in February, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to see it again. And after I see it the second time, I'm going to want to see it a third. So that's my biggest piece of advice. See it if you can. It's amazing. And Tom is amazing. And everyone is amazing. Josie Rourke, who is the director, did such a phenomenal job. Just phenomenal. And I have nothing bad to say about it. The performances were all just on par with each other. I couldn't even say that one person did better than another person. The first place that you'd think I'd go is like Tom is the be-all and end-all of the show. And it's cool because a lot of the times when an actor would leave the immediate stage, they wouldn't actually go off stage unless they were doing a costume switch. They'd actually go stand in the background and just stand there, stoic, not moving. And there were a lot of times where Tom was standing right there in the background, and my eye wasn't on him. It was on the people who were acting, because it was just great. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This was really long, and I'm sorry, but I kind of promised people that I would do this. So I'm really sorry if I didn't kind of convey this as articulately as I was hoping. My mind is kind of like just all over the room. Just chunks of brain and ovaries everywhere. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was so good. It was so fucking good. It was banana balls good. It was so good that I am never, ever going to be able to have children. Ever. Because with everything that's gone on, the Jaguar commercial, the Thor audition, the Loki in Cap suit, and then this, I can't. I'm done. So, yeah.